chestnut roasting.
Hello vlog and welcome back to Vlogmas. Day either 4 or 5. We're having some technical difficulties, but welcome back to Vlogmas. Today we're going to talk about all of the books I am excited to read in 2025. Some of these have already been released and some of them are new releases, so it's going to be a long one today, so let's just get right into it. If you hear me sounding sick, it's because I sadly am, I think, getting sick, so pretend you don't hear it. So the first book that I have on my list is Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman. Frederick Bachman is one of my absolute favorite authors, if not my favorite author ever. I love his writing. I love his Baytown series specifically, as well as Anxious People. Those are my two god tier books. I love them so much. But I've never read Britt Marie Was Here, which is about a girl or a woman, I think, who has a very stringent schedule and doesn't really like to veer from her routine and whatnot. And then her husband leaves her. And then she goes to this small town and she is the caretaker of a recreational center and then has to coach a boys football team. Honestly, it sounds so fun, the contrast between coaching a group of young boys playing football and the person that she's described to be is just so fun. I feel like it'll be so entertaining and heartwarming, as all of his books always are. So that's the first one. Then I have The Poppy War, which I don't really know what it's about. I tried reading the description and I still don't know what it's about. So I guess we'll see, but it's a book that I've always wanted to read. I want to read the entire series, obviously, but we have to start small with the first book. I think it might be interesting the way that people describe it. Well, not really even describe it, but people say that it's just so amazing. I kind of need to see what the hype is about. So I wanted to read that this year, but I didn't get around to it. So I want to read that in 2025. In terms of romance, I want to read the Bromance Book Club, which is kind of where this group of athletes have a book club where they read romance books so that they could kind of implement it into their own lives. And the main character in this book, he's having some marital troubles and stuff, and he just wants to kind of become better and learn how to be more romantic and whatever. So I really want to read this one. I've wanted to read this one for a while as well and never got around to it, but this seems so cute. The premise of that is just so cute. And then we have We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. This one, I'm not sure if this one is historical fiction or not. I don't think it is. I think I'm thinking of another book that came out around the same time as this and that has a similar cover. But We Begin at the End talks about this guy who not confesses, but he witnesses a crime, I think, and his testimony kind of puts his childhood best friend in prison, and now many years later his childhood best friend is coming out of prison and they kind of have to face each other and face what happened all those years ago. So I think this one will be really, really interesting, and as I said, I've wanted to read this for so long. I think since I started back reading, this was one of the books on my radar and I haven't read it, so I really want to read We Begin at the End. I'm sorry for the change of angle. I thought it was a little bit too far. Okay, so the next book is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. She's the writer of The Unmaking of June Farrow. I haven't read that book, and I know at least I think that's her most popular book. But this one kind of sparks my interest a little bit more than The Unmaking of June Farrow. This one talks about this, I think it's a mystery, magical realism mystery type book where this, like, the main character's boyfriend is accused of murdering her best friend, and they kind of have to face that drama in their hometown many years later. I love a murder mystery. That's one thing about me, and if there's a little bit of magic in it, sign me up. I'm really excited to read that. I think I'll read that sooner rather than later. The next one is The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. I have 2 Olivia Blake books on this TBR, and I read The Atlas 6 years ago when it had just come out, so 2021 possibly, or 2022, but I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars, maybe a little bit more than 4 stars if I really think about it, and I've never finished the series. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm excited to read the second book and hopefully finish the series this year. Okay, next we have The Plus One by Maisie Eddings, and I just really love the cover of this book. I think it's so cute. It's also wedding related, and you will see a theme this year. I just want to read everything that has to do with a wedding. This one is childhood enemies who end up being each other's plus one to a wedding, and it just seems like it'll be cute and fun, and that's enough for me. The next one is Between Us by Vari McFarlane. This one is kind of a placeholder for any book by this author. I know Haley Pham has been like obsessing over her all year, and she said that these books are like laugh out loud, funny, literary fiction, veering into romance kind of situation, and I love that. That sounds exactly up my alley. And I think I had started reading this like a year ago and I never finished it, so I want to restart it and give it a good shot, because she said I think that this was like the funniest book that she read all year, so I'm definitely excited about that. The next book is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams, who is the author of 7 Days in June, and I read that I think 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago, and I really liked it. It wasn't like god tier, but it was really good and I liked it a lot, so I will definitely be reading this one. I think this is about a socialite girl who comes from a dynasty family and she just doesn't feel like she fits in that kind of atmosphere, so she rents an apartment in Harlem, and I think it's just kind of her journey of self-discovery and kind of figuring out who she is outside of her family, and there is also a romance in here, so I'm excited to read that one. And everybody that I've seen talk about that book has raved about it and said that it was so good, so I have high hopes for that one. Similarly, The Woman by Kristen Hanna. I know a lot of people, I think this was Amazon's like #1 book of the year, and I'm a Kristen Hanna stan in general. I haven't read this book, but every book that I've read by her I have absolutely loved, so yeah, I will be picking this up and reading this next year 100%. The next book is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, and this one is basically about this mom who disappears many years ago and then reappears with no real or no plausible explanation, and the daughter is kind of trying to grapple with her emotions about the mom coming back, as well as trying to figure out if her mom is lying or telling the truth, and if she's lying, what is the truth, what really happened all of those years ago. So I heard by Haley Pham again that this is like one of the biggest plot twists of 2024, and I love a plot twist if it could catch me, so I'm definitely going to read that, and I have high hopes for that one as well. This one I have less high hopes for because I haven't seen anybody talk about it, and honestly the star rating on Goodreads is not that good. But When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, who is the author of the Divergent series. I'm a Divergent girl through and through. I loved the books and I also loved the series except for the last book, so I don't know, I just kind of wanted to reread Divergent, and then I was like, has she written anything else since then? And I saw this come up. I like the cover, and I'm interested to see what she did with this new world. So yeah, that's on my radar. Not high, but it's on my radar for sure. And then I have One Star Romance by Laura Hankin, which is also a recommendation by Haley Farm. This video is not sponsored by Haley Farm, but I just love her and I love her recommendations. And she said that this was a cute, fun rom-com, and yeah, it's wedding related. It's about this girl who wrote a book and she got a 1-star review, and then she gets partnered with the guy who wrote the 1-star review for a wedding that they're both in. That sounds like fun. It's rom-com, wedding, and like kind of enemies to lovers. You actually can't get, they wrote that book for me, so I will be reading it. Oh, and then we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I have not read any of her books before, but honestly I think her writing would be something that I like, based on what everybody has said. And then also this storyline specifically caught me. None of her other storylines have ever really piqued my interest, which is why I haven't read them despite the hype. But A Novel Love Story is about this girl who goes, or is like transported to her favorite book. So she becomes a character, or she kind of gets to live amongst her favorite characters from her favorite book in like a small town. That sounds so fun and so cute, and I will definitely be reading that soon. Okay, and the last book that I have on my list of released books is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I have no idea what this is about. All I know is that it has to do with a wedding and two people meeting and one stranger getting invited to a wedding. And I know from this Destiny Sidwell's video that it kind of has a lot more to it, especially with regards to the main character. And there's a lot of like emotional and deep stuff, which I love, like a fun premise with depth to it. So I'm definitely a little bit more excited about it now that I kind of heard that from her. And people have been raving about this book all year. The minute I saw this cover, I was obsessed. I love the cover so much. So I will be reading that in my wedding year next year, which I'm so excited about. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the unreleased books that I'm extremely excited to read this year. First of all, as everybody has been saying, the covers this year are absolutely insane. They are so cute, most of them, and I don't have a lot of physical books on my bookshelf just because near me we don't get a lot of brand new books, and by the time they come near me, I've already read them on my Kindle or whatever. So I do want to like maybe order some of these covers and stuff because I love them so much and they're so cute. But the first one that we have is We Solve Murders by Richard Osman, who is the writer of the Thursday, is it a Thursday or Tuesday Murder Club series. I read the first book in that series. I never finished it, but I really enjoyed the first book. I thought the writing was so fun and so cute, and the cast of characters was great. And this one is about a crime solving duo, a father-in-law and a daughter-in-law together. The father-in-law is retired and the daughter-in-law is a private investigator. So I'm definitely excited. I love murder mysteries that are also like kind of funny, so I'm excited to read that one. This other one is The 3 Lives of Kate K by Kate Fagan. I think this one is the cover. The cover got me. I saw it on a list of anticipated reads for 2025, and oh, dates. So oh wait. Okay, I am incorrect. We Solve Murders is already out. It came out in September of this year. But The Three Lives of Kate, this one is now coming out in 2025 on the 7th of January. This one is literally just about this author who's very elusive, and we're trying to figure out who she really is. That's all I know, and that's all I need to know. The next one is A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young, which is also the author of, what was the other one I called? Okay, Spells for Forgetting. Yeah, she wrote The Unmaking of June Farah and Spells for Forgetting. And this one is about like twin telepathy. So she and her sibling had like this intuition and telepathy between them, and then he died, and she always had a sense that like there was unfinished business, and then she kind of goes on a journey of trying to figure out what happened to her brother all of those years ago. So I think I have a theme of like kind of murder mysteries, past and present, trying to uncover stuff vibe right now. I don't know if that's a right now vibe or if it really will translate into 2025, but I realize the theme. The next one I have is The Love Simulation by Etta Easton. I saw Kyra Edwards. She was talking about this book, and first of all, I love her. I am a Kyra Edwards stan. If you want like cute, cozy, mom book Christian content, that is the place to be. And I've been following her for many years. But this one is about two teachers, I think, or just two people who are kind of competing to go in this simulation of Mars, and it just looks cute and romantic, and there are two black leads, which is great to see on a rom-com. So yeah, I'm excited to read that one, and that's supposed to come out on the 4th of March, so pretty soon. This one also comes out in March, and this one is my absolute most anticipated read, maybe third or second. My second most anticipated read of the year, which is The Rat Picker King by Cassandra Clare. I am so excited. I can't even explain how excited I am. I just finished Swordcatcher, and it was so good. It was so good. We can't talk about it, but it was so good, and I'm so excited to read the next book and see like where this series is going to go. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. This one comes out on, I think, the 7th of March. No, also comes out on the 4th of March. And the next one is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. The only Olivia Blake book I've ever read is The Atlas 6, and I really enjoyed it, as I said earlier. But this one is like Olivia Blake wrote Succession, and something about that is scratching an itch in my brain. I just know it's going to be so good. So I'm really excited about this one. I think this comes out in April, so the 1st of April next year. The next one is Swept Away by Beth O'Leary, which Swept Away is, yeah, this one is the boat. So they're castaways. They're both stranded on a boat and it's a rom-com. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. The cover is absolutely amazing. I love it. It's so cute. And then also just something about the proximity and being at sea adds like a different layer to a rom-com, and I'm really excited to see how she executes it, because I really liked two of the books that I've read. I've only read two of her books, but I've loved both of them. I can't remember the names right now, but I think I really love her writing, so I'm excited to see how this one goes. This comes out on also the 1st of April. We have a lot of good ones coming out in the beginning of the year. The next one is the one I am most excited about. This is my number one most anticipated read of 2025, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I love this one. I love everything she has written, and well, everything that I have read that she's written. I know she wrote some other books before she started writing mainstream romance, but this one comes out on the 22nd of April. The cover is so cute, and I don't know a lot about it, and I don't want to know, nor do I care. I know I will read it because it's Emily Henry, and that's good enough for me. But I do know that this one has to do with two writers competing to write some person's story. Okay, so the last two books we have to talk about are My Friend by Frederick Bachman. I have no idea what it's about. The cover isn't even out. I know it comes out in June next year. That's all I need to know. I'm a Frederick Bachman stan, as we all know, so whatever he writes, I will read. And the last book is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read two of her books, or completed two of her books, Daisy Jones and the Six and One True Loves, and I've loved both of them immensely. I think I gave both of them 5 stars, but I've never read any of her other books, like the super popular ones. I've never read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I tried multiple times and I just didn't like it, so I never finished it. But yeah, I'm definitely willing to give this one a chance. This one has to do with a woman, and I think it's historical fiction, a woman who is going to be part of NASA's spaceship program, and it seems like a bit of found family, as well as like women in STEM and all of those kind of things. I think honestly, as long as I'm interested in the plot of a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, I will love it because I really love her writing. So I'm really excited about that one. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this video of Vlogmas Day 5 or 4. Bear with me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.